Hey everybody, my name is MetalMusicMan.
And I'm Professor Lex.
And this is episode 26. We messed up last time. We know it's 26 because we said 24, but it was really 25. Okay. It was the whole thing. Now it's 26. So here we are of the Metal and Lex podcast.
Just promised.
Yeah.
26 episodes is half the year, officially. We've been doing this for 6 months.
No.
Yeah, because there's 52 weeks in a year, right?
Oh, God, you're right. Oh, man, that's so weird.
Happy podcast half birthday or whatever.
God, that's so weird.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. We've got a constituency. We've got people and viewers.
I think we've amassed at least 6 viewers or listeners,
which is just
rather.
Insane. Thank you
to all
Thank
6
all
of
6 of you. I saw that Nat on the
Did
camera
you? Okay,
time.
yeah.
It flew by.
It's Natpocalypse version 2, so if you guys hear me swatting some stuff, I think they're getting their last hurrah before it gets cold.
I'm hoping it gets cold soon.
They're fucking inbreeding. Dude, I went outside today and it was like so sort of
65?
fall. Yeah, this morning it was wild, dude.
And then it got up to like 85.
Yeah.
Just casually. Yeah, that's kill your grandparents' weather.
as in the weather will kill your grandparents, not the weather outside is murder my grandparents. not that. Not like you're going to kill them because of okay. That's good. That's good.
No. Because a big temperature change will
It'll do it. It'll do. So yeah, we got a couple different things for you guys today. We're gonna be maybe a little shorter than usual because Lex has to go spend time with his family or something.
Yeah, it's a birthday dinner.
God, what asshole dared to have a birthday on podcast day? Don't they know we've been doing this for 6 months?
I should have scheduled it better.
What's wrong with them?
It's my mistake. I will fall on my sword. It is my birthday.
Wait, it is? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me it was your birthday till right now? I don't even have your birthday. This is how oh my God, this is how recently we have been hanging out still because because I don't have a thing
I'm not on your Google Calendar?
Yeah, because I am such a piece of shit that I am literally incapable of remembering anyone's birthday. So unless I put it in the calendar, what is today? The 4th?
The 4th, all day.
4th.
Yeah.
Professor Lex B-Day, ! ×3. I'm giving you salmon color. The salmon color.
Thank you. In honor of my salmon pants.
Notification 0 days before. All day event. 0 days before at 9 a.m. So on the day. And how do I repeat? Repeats. Annually. Boom. You are now officially in my calendar. I will never forget again. And by that I mean
we did it.
I will never remember until my phone tells me, and then I will, and it will seem like I have not forgotten. Happy birthday. How old are you now?
Thank you. I am officially 30. I'm no longer in my late 20s. Yeah.
So old. Yeah. So
I'm an old man. I felt my spine went out, the whole shebang.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe this is your birthday podcast.
It's my birthday podcast.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. I'm so excited. Now that everyone knows what a piece of shit I am for not knowing anyone's birthday.
So now that they can second guess anytime you remember some important life event.
I remember nothing. Yeah, no, I remember nothing. I remember no thing. Yeah, if I ever like, oh my God, if you have a baby or something and for some reason I remember when it was born or when you got married, if I ever remembered, it's literally, it's just because Google reminded me. I don't remember any of that shit.
Google gave you a heads up.
Yeah, I don't know how do people survive? Okay, here for me it was I was working at Circuit City and I was 17 and I had just gotten an amount of money because it was my first job and you got cell phone discounts and I was like, I'm going to buy my own cell phone. Fuck yeah, I am an adult. I make money now. I'm going to buy my own cell phone. And so I remember I bought my cell phone and I got it set up. And the first week I had it, I was like, oh my God, this calendar is amazing. And I put things in the calendar and I have never gone back. It is the best thing for my mental health of all time. I don't think other people do this, but for me, it's having things on that stack. It just drives me nuts. So if I put it in the phone, if I put it in the calendar,
you don't have to spend any of your RAM.
I'm done.
On it.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Yeah. And then, this Nat is not gone. But yeah, so I don't know how people, I don't know how people survive with having things on their mind.
Having to remember things.
Yeah.
I'm one of those weirdos that tends to remember people's phone numbers. but that's mostly died out ever since like people stopped giving me their number, and they'd be like, tell me your number and I'll call you, and then my number will be in your phone.
I used to remember certain ones for the same reason, but now again, yeah, it's in the phone. But I think I still remember, I know my brother's phone number and my ex's phone number.
Oh, good.
And I think that's it. I could not tell you. I know my mom's phone number is like similar to my brother's, but I couldn't tell you what it was.
Mom, dad, my little brother, my girlfriend, my parents' house, my job. I tend to remember most numbers, like all of them, every number,
all the numbers,
0 through like 30 or whatever.
I'm gonna kill zero through 30 gnats by the time this podcast is over. So anyway, I'm gonna jump in really quick for the weekly thing. Or no, did you have more? Do you have more things?
Well, I was gonna say, can I do my official retractment of our endorsement?
Oh, I thought that was second. No, by all means, jump ahead. Okay, so we're So Lex says he would like to apologize to everyone.
Yes, I would like to apologize in light of new evidence, and by new I mean like a couple of weeks old, and we just happened to forget the last time we were going to do this, and then we forgot. There's been some new evidence that has come to light. I said to myself, I'm going to believe in MikeZ until Kinoko comes out, or until someone gives us like some firm, hard specifics that's like cancel worthy or whatever. And then,
can I just say, I do think that's okay. There's a lot of people, especially in the Twitterverse, that are like, if you don't immediately cancel someone as soon as anyone says anything, you're a piece. I'm sorry. I'm not. I know everybody hates to hear like innocent till proven guilty, but like, look, man.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, like, just because a couple people say something, even if they turn out to be right, you're not a douche for not immediately condemning everyone the first time anything's brought up. However,
that said, it is the official Lex and Metal podcast. Metal and Lex, however, podcast.
It can be Lex and Metal when you say it. It's your birthday.
Yeah. Fuck you. It's okay. We are retracting the official Lex and Metal endorsement of MikeZ. Turns out he's a piece of shit or whatever. So that sucks.
Well,
bad. Yeah.
Oh, now let me ask you: Do you what chance do you think there is? Well, I guess we should fast forward and say that there was evidence. Obviously, now that he's saying this, there's been more people specifically, more people that work closely with him. The lead animator, I believe.
Yeah, and they didn't just come out and say we agree. MikeZ sucks. They
had their own things,
personal interactions, and they were like, he did this specific action. This is how he harassed me.
Well, the one that like when I was reading, I mean, there were a couple, and okay, on the spectrum of cancelable things, which is so ridiculous that we need to even go there. But I mean, I think I would definitely label him as cancelable.
Sure.
But I'm curious how you feel about his like potential for like redemption, because like one of the things that I read that the animator chick was saying was like that
Kinoko, yeah.
It was like he asked her if she masturbated as like a
form of stress relief.
Yeah, it was like she said like, "Oh, I'm so stressed about this project deadline," and then he was like, "Do you masturbate?" And I was just like, "Well, okay." Like I like talking about some sex. Don't get me wrong. I have even talked about in very light ways, like my coworkers and I, if we're out for a beer, someone will ask some things. One of my coworkers asked me if I was bisexual randomly the other day, and I was just like, I mean, no, but yes, right? What's that pirate meme? We already had that podcast.
Well, yes,
and then they didn't understand. No. Yes, but actually no. Or no, is it no, but actually yes? Well, I forget which way it is. It doesn't matter. But anyway, my coworkers are way too fucking heteronormative to understand anything that isn't anything. So I was just like, whatever, I'll change the subject. But my point is, it can come up if you're a little chummy with your coworkers. It can come up.
Yeah.
But when it typically doesn't come up, is like, oh man, I have a lot of work to do, and then someone is just like, you should
jerk off.
You should go jack off.
That'll help you out.
Like, that's okay. So yeah, there was that one and one or two more. I was just like, all right.
Yeah, he insinuated that it would be beneficial to her to have sex with him. I don't know.
Yeah, I know you're right. Yeah, it got even worse. Yeah, God. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. No, that's gross. That's an abuse of the power dynamic. That's just a sleazy thing to say. Like, that's fucked.
So do you think it goes beyond his awkwardness then, though? Like, do you think do you think he's conscious of?
I think you have to be conscious when you tell somebody that you should.
It would be beneficial to have sex with you.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, like, I mean,
but he's not all of Skullgirls, right? He's not.
No, that's the wonderful thing. So, like, Skullgirls, you should still play. It's still a great game. Even as bad as MikeZ is. Like a lot of people put a lot of love into that game, and it wasn't just MikeZ.
It was just mostly MikeZ.
Well, he did a lot of the game design stuff, and so like that's one of the things that like bums me out because
he's the designer, yeah. So like there's the art and everything else, which that'll be the same, but like that's like sort of like Street Fighter V has a different game designer than Street Fighter 4. Look what happened there. My alarm's going off, reminding me to podcast with you.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, so it might be, which, far be it from us to be sad about it based on someone not getting sexually harassed. That's obviously better. But it is a little bit of a downer if you're a Skullgirls fan, thinking like...
Because they had the Annie trailer, the Annie of the Stars trailer came out, and I was like, oh shit, does that mean 2021 is going to have like a Skullgirls rebirth? Is this the closest to Skullgirls 2 we'll get?
Yeah.
And like, the answer's probably still yeah, but like even less.
Does he have like... a less rapey protege by chance?
Not that I know of.
Like he was the guy. That was it for the design.
I can't speak to his total involvement with the design process, but I know that he was the guy who came out and said, I had this great idea and now it's implemented because I did it. So I have to assume that there are other people with creativity and other people with technical prowess, and I have to assume that they're going to be able to take care of the game since MikeZ is gone. So like Autumn Games owns the IP for Skullgirls now. They make the cell phone game, which is making money as compared to like most fighting games. And so they own the IP. MikeZ owns Lab Zero, and he today or yesterday night or something, Kinoko and a couple of the other lead animators, some of the big wigs at Lab Zero left because Autumn Games discontinued their relationship with Lab Zero Games.
Because of MikeZ?
Because of MikeZ. Because they said if you could fire him, then we'd continue working with you.
They own the IP?
For Skullgirls. Autumn Games owns the IP for Skullgirls.
Which MikeZ created as well? Or didn't?
I think he did, but it's something to do with publishing.
Like he sold it to them legally or something? Okay.
Yeah, there's some legalese in there that I don't speak. But at the end of the day, the important thing is MikeZ controls Lab Zero, Autumn Games controls Skullgirls. After the bigwigs left Lab Zero, MikeZ laid off everyone else in the company.
Oh, that I didn't know. That's news.
That happened like yesterday or today.
Okay. So do you think they're all going to create a new company that's the same company but without MikeZ and then get hired by Autumn Games?
I hope. I don't know.
Yeah.
And if they don't, I don't blame them. If they do, that would be cool. I really do want Skullgirls 2 in air quotes, but
yeah,
we'll get what we get, and we won't throw a fit.
Hey, you rhymed.
Other people have other stuff.
You can do it anytime. Yeah, that sucks, man. But it's for the best if he's like that. So do you think he has any chance at a shot back eventually, or do you think he's just too far gone?
Maybe eventually, but it's not my place to offer him that shot back.
Absolutely it isn't. But that's kind of I was curious about, like how. Yeah. I mean, I know the stuff you were just talking about. That's pretty bad, and that's definitely like a large mark against. I didn't know how, I guess, like rampant it was. I know there were a bunch of people that talked about his general unprofessionalness and weirdness, which they were less pointed last time we talked about this than what's her name? Kinoko. Yeah, they were a lot less pointed in terms of the accusations.
Less specific too.
Yeah, they were more just kind of generally, he's just weird and he makes people uncomfortable. I'm like, okay, I get it, but like that's not. I can't go. I personally can't go on that. Yeah. So this is a lot more substantive. So yeah. Which sucks. But yeah, anyway, so I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, we're sorry for ever liking MikeZ. It
was our mistake.
We should have gotten in the DeLorean.
Will be canceled.
Yeah. Please cancel us accordingly. So that's the update on that.
Yep. But you had exciting, happy things that you wanted to talk about. In happier news.
Diabotical is
I've been struggling to say that
fucking great game. So it's diabolical, but robots. So it's diabolical. So diabotical.
Yeah. No, I can do it, but I've been struggling. Every time I see the word, I just freeze up.
It's a little odd. So in my Discord, in my Discord, all of my video games have like the my Gerd Burks meme from like 2009 or whatever the fuck that was a thing.
It's like Diabotical.
So yeah, well, so there's World of Warcraft, and then there's like for Diablo's Dear Blur and all those. And then I was writing that for Diabotical, and I was like, oh man, like it was hard. I was like, holy shit. Like they normally just come to me like Grern, Blur, Fantasy Versers. Like they always just come right to me,
you know? Occur and you're safe.
But but dude, fucking like Perth, Urxerl, like they're all so easy. But yeah, Diabotical was like, oh man, I had to pause and like stare at the screen and tilt my head like a Labrador that's confused by a butterfly. It was pretty good stuff.
We've all been there.
Anyway, if you are old,
I am.
Then you may remember a game called Quake 3 Arena, which is objectively the best shooter of all time. And if you think otherwise, you're dumb and you should die. So it's great. It's fucking fantastic shooter. It is the granddaddy of arena shooters. Well, maybe not the granddaddy, because I mean it's a sequel to Quake 2, which was arena shootery. You had Unreal Tournament 1. Before it, but there was always like Quake and Unreal Tournament, and so then Quake 3 Arena came out before Unreal Tournament 2004. So I forget. I think it was like late 90s, like maybe 1999, maybe 2000. And Quake 3 Arena. What's that? You can't fact check me. It's probably right here. I'll Google for myself. Let me just Google myself right now. Little Tracy Morgan humor, no big deal. 1999, cool. So I was right on the mark. So that game is the shit. It is the standard by which all arena shooters live by. And if you don't know what an arena shooter is because you're a helpless pleb, allow me to explain. So a normal shooter.
Wait. Is it anything like Turok 2 Seeds of Evil? No.
Other than that, it is a shooter. No, wait. Is that the one that was on? Is that the one that was on N64 that was exactly like Quake 3 Arena but crappier and on a console? Because if so, yes,
Except I have the PC version.
There was a PC version of that game?
Yeah. Yo,
no, I remember playing that on my N64 and being like, this is like crappy Quake, but it's kind of cool and different. I forgot that existed until just now. So it's exactly like that. Yeah, it's an arena shooter. So typically, well, not exactly, but it is the same genre.
It's precisely it.
Typically, arena shooters, what they have that differentiates them from more standard shooters. A is that there is almost never body placement damage. And you might think at first, well, that's stupid. But that's okay. You're uninformed and dumb. The reason there's no body placement damage is because arena shooters highly emphasize movement. And Quake 3 is the first one that really, really, really got the movement down. And much like Super Smash Bros. Melee, a lot of what makes arena shooters good, or specifically Quake 3 Arena good, is that a lot of it is like a weird happy accident. So you're probably familiar with like bunny hopping, which has been in, Counter-Strike and every shooter known to man. It's been in everything. But bunny hopping originated with strafe jumping for the most part in Quake 3. I mean, it was in other games before that, but again, Quake 3 was the one that really like drove it home. So there's like an error in the physics system. This is where it's a lot like wave dashing in Smash Melee. There's an error there's an error in the physics system that if you turn your mouse as you jump, you gain extra momentum based on the way that you turn. And when you land, if you jump and turn the mouse the other way, you gain additional momentum in the opposite turn direction. So you jump and slightly turn your mouse left. And you can do this while strafing for additional speed. So you can like strafe walk like diagonally. So W and A at the same time, or W and D at the same time. And that gives you additional momentum, but also makes you move further left to right. But the main thing, and a lot of people don't understand this because it is called strafe jumping. It's not the strafe input that makes you gain momentum. It's the turning of the mouse that makes you gain momentum. And so as you turn your mouse to look, that actually gains you momentum. So you jump forward and turn the mouse right. And then as you land, you jump forward and turn the mouse left. And you do this a little bit so you're slightly off center, but so that ultimately you're looking kind of in the same general way you would be looking if you were holding straight. And there's basically no limit to this amount of momentum that you can gain. So if there's a long hallway, someone who is good at the game, if you're playing capture the flag mode, someone who's good at the game can run to the end of a long hallway with a flag literally 3 to 5 times faster than someone who's just holding run. Like, absurdly fast. And I actually played with a couple of my buddies in high school who were really good at games built on this engine. So the other part of this game that makes it so good is that, and this is another old people game history lesson for all you youngsters, the Quake 3 engine from 1999 when it came out until, almost 2010, maybe like 2008, literally every fucking game under the sun used the Quake 3 engine. Like Wolfenstein, Day of Defeat, fucking... I can't even think of them all, but like, just Google like list of games that use the Quake 3 engine. It's every shooter for like almost an entire decade. So if you were good at Quake 3, you were also good at all of these other games, okay? In the same way that like if you're good at like Street Fighter 2, you can play any fighting game because they're all like, except even more so because it's like the same engine. And so even if they try to change the physics, it's still like kind of there.
Underneath, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of why Quake is so great, because not only was it great in and of itself, and did it have some of the amazing happy accidents that games like Melee did,
define the genre.
But it not only defined the genre, it was like if every fighting game for 10 years was actually built on the Street Fighter 4 engine, or was actually built on the Smash Melee engine. Yeah, exactly. So it was an astronomically successful game, but predominantly on its own, it was just the arena shooter genre that it didn't quite birth, like I said, but it certainly popularized it, and it was the one that was like the most legit. Like there was some competition with Unreal Tournament, which is a great game that I still like, but Unreal Tournament was generally a lot more casual. Quake was where like the big boys played. All the esports, the fucking big prizes. If you remember like Fatality, he was like the first guy that started like endorsing equipment. Like he was like the first big esports person where like Creative paid him for the Fatality brand sound cards, and he had the Fatality brand keyboards and mice. You look like you have a thing.
No, you're good.
So he had like all those things, and it was because of Quake. So I played with my buddy. I had 2 friends in high school that were very, very good at this game. We all played it, but my 2 friends specifically, I had my one friend, David, and he played like a offshoot game. It was a Star Trek game called Star Trek Elite Force that was built on the Quake 3 engine. And he was in like the number 1 or number 2 Capture the Flag clan in like North America for years. And I would play with him, and he wasn't like the greatest at Quake specifically because the weapons were different, right? Because in Star Trek, the Star Trek game based on Quake 3 had different weapons, but it had the exact same movement system. And that motherfucker, like, I thought I was good at strafe jumping. He was like fucking like, dude, he was like a rocket on crack. I don't understand. Like, it is crazy how good you can be with movement, because it's one thing to be able to move fast, right? But it's another thing to be able to move fast and like turn a corner. And so a lot of the maps have like tight corridors. So if you're really good, you can go fast. But if you're really, really, really good, you can go fast and like turn on a dime, right? And navigate. So that was crazy. I used to love playing with him. And then my other friend, Nick, who is dead, which is wild, he did some drugs and his car broke down. Okay. His car broke down in the middle of a highway. And it was the coldest night of the year. And he wandered for help, trying to find help, and froze to death in the middle of the woods and was eaten by squirrels. So anyway, that's a guy I knew from high school who died like 10 years ago. That's a real story. Yeah, that's a real story.
Okay. I'm sorry.
He was a very cool, interesting, weird man who was very good at shooters. I have to tell that story every time I remember he existed, because it's tragic and horrible. He was crazy. He was really into Rammstein. He was a very fat man who would, at lunch, we would all eat, and he would like steal people's zebra cakes and then hide them under his man boobs. He was hilarious. He was a really weird guy. But anyway, he was a god at shooters. Okay, so he would play like Day of Defeat with us, which was based on the Half-Life 1 engine. He would play Quake with us. He would play Unreal Tournament. And he was always in like some really big ass clans too. And where I'm kind of going up to this, that's the fun trip down memory lane, is Nick would like wipe the floor with us in every game. He didn't play like all the games we played, but it just didn't matter. He was so good at shooters. He could just play he could play traditional shooters. He could play arena shooters, any of them. He used to crack me up because he would use a Sharpie marker on his CRT glass, and he would draw a crosshair on it, so that when you were using sniper rifles that didn't have a crosshair, he was like, "Yeah, you just draw a dot on your monitor." I was like, "Oh my god, you are so wild,
ingenious."
So yeah, he would wipe the floor with us. Like I remember playing Unreal Tournament 2004 when it came out with a couple of my friends, and we went over to Nick's house and we did a LAN party. This is back when LAN parties were a thing. Holy shit. Before internet was good, so you'd lug your computer over to your friend's house. Oh my God. And we played Unreal Tournament, and he was wiping the floor with us. He had never even played the game. He was destroying us. Like, we all thought we were good. And then he starts telling us this tale about how he played Fatality in Quake 3 once, and he dueled him. And I was like, oh man, what was the score? And he goes, 10 to -1. And I was just like, God, like that was one of the first times I like fully understood the breadth of skill in games. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, literally, like I never killed him. And one time I accidentally shot myself with a rocket and I died. That was the game. I was just like, oh my God. So anyway, one of the other, speaking of the rocket things, one of the other systems that made Quake 3 so great is that there were other physics interactions. One of them being like you could shoot yourself with rockets. So a lot of games have rocket jumping. But again, Quake 3 was like the first one to really, really, like I think, perfect that. There were a couple games before it again that had it, but it wasn't quite the same. And combining like strafe jumping and rocket jumping and all that, there were game modes that had no rocket damage. It just created all these different amazing game modes. So long story short, the reason I haven't talked about Diabotical yet is because now that you know all these things about Quake 3, that's what Diabotical is. History. It's fucking amazing. Some dude, apparently it's one dude. It's like one dude who 8 years ago was like, I want there to be Quake. Because what happened is they made Quake Live, which was a web browser-based version of Quake 3. Yeah. Which was godlike. I played the shit out of Quake Live. It was so fun because it's literally just Quake 3. It all runs in the browser. You don't need any installation. It just works because the game's so old. Who fucking cares? It had ladders. It had all this shit. And they were like supporting it for esports. It was amazing. And then they randomly were like, wait a minute. No, we're going to make a new game. It's going to be called Quake 4. And we're going to make money off of that. And then they made it and it was terrible. It was terrible. It was like worse than Street Fighter 5. Okay, it was like it was so just not even. It'd be like if someone made a Street Fighter game, okay, and it was a good Street Fighter game. It was Street Fighter 4, and then they were like, we're gonna make Street Fighter 5, and instead of being as good as Street Fighter 5 is, you should already know how bad this is by the fact that I'm saying that. Instead of being as good as Street Fighter 5 is, it was like they instead made like a puzzle fighter game, and they called that like the main game.
Oh, but I love puzzle fighter games.
But it's not the main thing of Street Fighter. It's like a totally different thing. And then they did it again. Yeah. They did it again like 6 years later. They just released like 2 or 3 years ago Quake Champions. And they're like, what if we had Quake, but there were like champions in it, like in League of Legends, and you had power-ups. And people are like, that might be a fine game, but it's not fucking Quake. The whole point of Quake is that it's an even level playing field. That's the whole point. Like, so that's anyway,
just your prowess.
Yeah, they kept fucking shit up. They wouldn't support Quake Live for whatever dumb fucking reason, even though it'd be the easiest thing to do. And so some dude in a fucking cave somewhere who's like the Iron Man of Quake arena shooters was like, I'm just going to make my own fucking game. And so it's got these weird looking robots in it that are funny. It doesn't really matter. The graphics are, though, actually really good. It runs amazing. I was getting like 250 FPS the entire time I was playing, which is exactly what you want. The maps are a combination of new, awesome, cool, good maps and maps that are literally just the maps from Quake 3, but with different graphics and textures added to them. So you're like they were playing this map the other day on a castle. It was like this whimsical fairy tale castle. I was like, hey, wait a minute. This is that evil demon hell castle from Quake 3. This is literally the same map. But that's good. That's amazing. That's exactly what you want. Wheel, yeah. And then they have like other game modes that are very similar to Quake 3 or identical. And then 1 or 2 game modes that are like kind of offshoots of game modes that Quake 3 had. And all of the weapons are like the same fucking thing. Like pretty much. It's like the rocket launcher. It's just a fucking Quake 3 rocket launcher. And then they have like the Quake 3 lightning gun and the Quake 3 shotgun. They're all the same. And it's just, it's like if someone made Melee HD and it was everything you ever wanted and not like differently weird and bad in ways that were stupid. It was like, it's like if Mewtwo King made Melee HD. Like that's what Diabotical is like for Quake 3 fans. And it's free to play. The only downside is that it's on the Epic Games Store, which sucks.
Who cares?
It's still free, so who cares? Well, if it was on Steam instead, I would be like, I couldn't even be doing this podcast. I'd just be jizzing a fountain. But yeah, it's so good. So anyway, if you ever gave a shit about Quake 3 or arena shooters, this game is the fucking game. It is the fucking game. It has an amazing Instagib mode. And Instagib is actually really innovative and different. Instead of being like normal hit scan Instagib, which is like where the projectile doesn't travel, it just happens instantly. It's a very fast traveling projectile. And then they give you what equates to damageless rocket launcher. So you can basically rocket jump in Instagib mode. It's really cool. This game is amazing. Definitely go download it. It's free. It's free to play.
Today.
Play Diabotical.
Store.
Please give it all the love and support.
Fortnite.
Don't play Fortnite. Fuck that shit. Give this team all your love, dude. They fucking made this amazing thing.
What do you think the odds are of a PS4 port?
Oh, Lex. Lex. Just play it on your laptop. It'll run. That's the whole point of these games. Yes.
Oh, so it's that low grade?
I get 250 FPS. I mean, okay, to be fair, I haven't tried it, but like
30.
It's
the human eye can only see like 24.
You'll get at least, I would think you'd get at least 60, because if you can run Street Fighter 4, I would think this game... Okay, to be fair, I haven't tested this. We should test it. You should download it and try it, because the whole point of these games, that's why like when they made Quake Live, they didn't like... That's the whole problem with like Quake Champions, is you can't get good frame rate in that game, because there's too many graphics, which is not the point. The point of those games is to run smoothly. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole point. So typically they do run on a toaster, and the fact that I'm getting 250 frames per second on my good computer makes me think it's pretty likely you should get at least 60, I would think, on your crap computer. I could be wrong. I haven't tested it on toasters, but if you can run Street Fighter 5 or Street Fighter 4, I think you could probably run this.
Stands to reason.
Okay. I think you could run it. So anyway, I've been having a blast playing that. I just played it the other night with Jordan and Pharaoh. And Seth for a little bit, and I'm still playing WoW, but that game, I don't know, it just makes me feel so good that somebody made it. I'm just happy that it exists. So that's my spiel. I think you might have to go.
Oh, that's good.
You have to go?
Yeah, I do have to go. Before we leave, did you have a butt update? Was that
the thing
I had heard?
I do have okay. Podcast listeners, I kind of like somebody.
Aww.
And she's kind of neat. And it was going really well. And then it's not bad. It's not, well, it is, but it's not probably what you're thinking. But she lives currently her sister lives with her. Okay. And her sister is immunocompromised, and I work for a school, and kids all, as we know, carry the AIDS virus. So I haven't been able to see her for about 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. I'm supposed to be able to see her again next week. We've done like an E-date again. So we were seeing each other in person. Everything's good. Everything's great. We're honking each other's butts. It's fucking, she's cool. We play chess. It's fun. Sex is good. Everything's great.
Is chess a metaphor?
And no, we actually play chess. It's fun. I taught her how to play chess, and she picked it up so fast. She's curious to play Street Fighter, and I actually think she might be a threat. Because she picked up chess, like, most people, you tell them the pieces. You tell them how the pieces move.
And then they struggle to remember them.
Yeah, or what they even do. She was immediately doing strategical things that made sense.
Suddenly she did the Paris opening. She had
not that, but she was doing things that made sense. And I was like, holy shit. So anyway, she's cool as fuck. And so it just sucks because I haven't seen her for 3 weeks. I think I can't see her this weekend, which fucking blows. I think next weekend is supposed to be the time, and then it'll hopefully, but it just sucks because we were on the normal kick and everything was good. And I thought I was not done with COVID, but at least done with it with regards to, this interaction with this human. Cause you got to go through the awkwardness of COVID dating to begin with, which we had done. And then it was just I'm going back to school and your sister could die. So anyway, she's cool.
I want her sister to die.
I think I like her. We'll see what happens.
I'm hopeful for you, Will.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
I got my fingers crossed.
So that's my butt update. So
nice.
I'll be off Snapchat for a while, I guess.
Oh, good. Won't be just sending your dick into the ether. You can share it with that one special person, or however this goes.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, anyway, I know you got to get out of here, so I won't keep you. So we will catch you guys next time. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and have fun on this 3-day weekend, everybody. We'll see you later. I've been MetalMusicMan.
I've been Professor Lex.
And we will catch you guys next time.
Finger guns.